Ahoy mateys and tiki drink lovers. This is Bourbon Bill with Bourbon Bill's Pirate Bar. Hey, we have an exciting show on our variety show today. Today we're making up for the fact that we have never made the Mai Tai before on this show. I don't know how that happened. But at any rate, this is one of the great 3 tiki drinks of all time. But before we get into that, make sure you hit that subscribe, like, and hit that notify bell so you're the first one to know when we upload new content to this channel. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back. Did you hit that subscribe button while we were away? Today, we're going to dive into one of the top 3 tiki drinks in the tiki pantheon. Today being the Mai Tai. That's why I'm wearing an appropriate colored Tommy Bahama shirt instead of my usual vest. So let's just dive right in. Now, there are 2 names that are synonymous with tiki and the origins of tiki. One is Don the Beachcomber, one's Trader Vic, or Victor Bergeron. Now, these 2 had like this love-hate relationship all through the 30s, 40s, and pretty much up until the day they died. But there's a big controversy about who invented the Mai Tai. Well, as the story goes, Vic would go and visit Don the Beachcomber's cafe, and he liked something called a DB cooler. DB, Don the Beachcomber, cooler. And he took it back. And he liked it, but some say he went and invented the Mai Tai on his own. Some say he kind of appropriated the recipe. But anybody that would listen to Victor, he would tell him, he says, if anybody said it, anybody else invented the Mai Tai beside me, they're a dirty stinker. So let's just take a moment and just think about how this all came about. So it was really named after he had handed this to one of his lady patrons, and she said Mai Tai, which is actually Tahitian for something pretty close. It loses a little bit in the translation, but it's something pretty close to awesome. So we're going to show you how simple this drink is, and I'm going to just show you that you can do this at home. It has a complex taste, but it is far from complex to make. Now we're going to break here for just a second for Talk Like a Pirate, and we'll be right back and get right into this delicious drink.
Hey mateys, it's time to learn to talk like a pirate.
Avast there, you scurvy dogs. On today's episode of Talk Like a Pirate, we're going to talk about no quarter, or giving no quarter. Now, there's a few things that have to go into this. When the golden age of piracy, which was the mid to late 1700s, there was a fear that pirates would put on another ship by hoisting up a red flag. A red flag back then in French was called gilet rouge. So that may sound a little similar to what we know today as a Jolly Roger. Now, the only known Jolly Roger that is in existence today that I'm aware of is at the Pirate Museum in St. Augustine, Florida. Now, we go from Jolly Rouge to Jolly Roger, which became the black flag, but when you would say no quarter, that meant no mercy. And when a ship saw the red flag go up, it was danger, danger, Will Robinson. And that usually meant they were not taking prisoners. And that fear many times would just alleviate the entire need for a battle, and the one ship would just give up. And then whatever happened just happened. So that's your lesson today for Talk Like a Pirate. Back to the show. Well, if nothing else, this show is educational, so we hope you appreciate our little interludes that we sprinkle out throughout the show. So let's get right to it. We're going to start off with just a mixing vessel, and if you've seen any of my shows, you know I always use a mixology and craft copper mixing vessels because they hold up here at the bar, they look great, and frankly they're quite affordable. So we're going to just start off with just a little bit of crushed ice. Now this works better, you know, some drinks work better with big cubes, some work better with crushed ice. I kind of like something a little bit in between here. So we're going to just use some of the crushed ice. Now, we're going to have two different kinds of rum here, but one goes in the drink, one goes on the drink later. So we're going to start off with 2 ounces of overproof Jamaican rum. Now, in the original recipe, it called for 17-year-old rum. Well, that's great, and that particular rum didn't overpower anything, but if it's a mixed drink, you don't really have to go for top shelf. This is actually not a bad bottle. It's in like the $30 range, and you can get it just about anywhere. It's Plantation Artisimal Rum, and they call it O.F.T.D, which means old-fashioned traditional dark. It's an overproof rum, so it does give you a little bit of a kick. So we're going to start off with 2 ounces. Throw that right in the mix. Now I have to stop here for just a second. Bootleg Mini says that there are certain phrases that I say a lot. I mean like a lot. So kind of watch out for those phrases, and you can kind of make your own kind of game with it, if you know what I mean. All right, so the second one we're going to put in is some simple syrup. Now, if you've seen our zombie video, you'll see that I actually show you how to make Don Beach's or Don's Mix, which is really just a variation on simple syrup. So we're going to take some simple syrup that I just happen to have here. You don't have to buy that expensive stuff. It's effectively a cup of sugar or a cup of water. And for Don's Mix, we throw in some cinnamon stick. Now, Martin Cate, in his book Smuggler's Cove, he actually put some drops of vanilla in it. So if you like cinnamon, go for it. If you like vanilla, go for it. So we're going to take just a little bit, and it's just like a 1/4 ounce, or honestly, just like a bar teaspoon. It doesn't have to be overly sweet. Now, Victor Bergeron, he started off with a 1/2 ounce of simple syrup in his original recipe, but he later cut that in half down to a 1/4. So honestly, it's just a good splash is really what it amounts to. All right, the next thing we're going to do is add some orange curacao. Now, curacao, you'll see this as a blue curacao. There's actually 2 that come from the island of Curacao that I was actually lucky enough to visit this past year. And it's orange. They're both orange liqueur flavored, but there is an official blue curacao, and then there's the orange stuff. We just happen to be using decuppers today. This didn't come from anywhere except our local Publix. So we're going to take that, and we're going to also take a 1/2 ounce of that. Throw that in the mix. This actually helps with the color. Next on the list is orgeat. It's spelled O-R-G-E-A-T, but it's pronounced orgeat. And this goes into so many different tiki drinks. So just get a bottle, get an inexpensive bottle. I mean, I've seen bottles in liquor stores that were like $20, $25. A lot cheaper. So again, 1/2 ounce. Put that in there, gives it a little complexity. And this keeps in the fridge for a while, so you don't have to worry about it too much. Next on the list, it calls for the juice of a lime. Now, a lot of people will get this plastic stuff, and I have to tell you, this is my opinion on it. So, you would cut an onion for dinner. Why wouldn't you cut a lime for a great drink? You know, kind of like that Papa John thing, better ingredients makes better results. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to just slap that right in there. And actually, you don't have to waste the whole lime because we're going to need some for garnish. What you can do is just take a slice out of the middle and you still have effectively 2 halves. So we're going to just squeeze that right into the mixing vessel. I did have someone point out in an earlier video that I was doing it wrong, and this one's kind of a weird little squeezer. Sometimes it works better if the lime hull is facing the holes and it squeezes out the side, and sometimes, well, you get the picture. But you know, hey, thanks to our viewers, that tells me that they're actually paying attention. Now while I do this, I do request just two things in these videos. One, obviously to subscribe to our channel, but also if you have comments down, put them down below in the comments section, because I do read them and I do respond to all of them. And if you don't mind, put the city that you're living in, because I'm compiling a map. I have viewers that have put in comments from Tokyo and from Finland and everywhere in between, and I'm really just touched that you take time out of your day to watch this channel. So there we go. Now we're just going to take that, and I believe, yep, that's everything. That's everything. So we're just going to give this a good little shake. Shake like a scared pirate in a hurricane. Boy, I can smell that already. And you can thank my buddy Scott for this one. Him and his lovely wife Jill took a vacation to Hawaii, and it had just reminded me I had never done a Mai Tai video. So it was like, how did that get past me? But anyway, here we go. So we're just going to slap that little bar mat there from bourbonbillspiratebar. We're going to load this up with some crushed ice. Crushed ice tends to clump together if you let it sit too long. So we'll just dig down deep and get that going. All right. Take our little handy dandy strainer and just pour that right in. Isn't that a gorgeous drink? All right, now, since this is one of the top 3 tiki drinks, we can't just say, here, because that's not part of the experience, not part of that tropical escapism that people look for. You know, if you're going to go tiki, you got to go big. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take a little sprig of lime and kind of aerate that out a little bit. Now, I did take a mixology class at Bacardi, or what we say here in the States, Bacardi in San Juan, and their take on mint was just take it, and some drinks like a mojito, they'll take it and they'll just kind of grind it with a big muddling stick in the bottom. Actually, at Bacardi, they just take it and just give it a good slap. And then that kind of expresses the oils in the leaves themselves. And boy, I can really just smell that coming up right now. And we're also going to garnish that with a lime wheel. And of course, the obligatory little tiki umbrella, little drink umbrella. And there you have it. So right before we close today, we do have one more thing that we almost forgot. We have that talk like a pirate earlier, and we almost forgot the pirate joke of the day. So we'll be right back. And we're back.
Need some coffee.
Hey, Bootleg Minnie, do you know what time it is?
I don't know, Bourbon Bill. What time is it?
It's time for the pirate joke of the day. Now, Bootleg, how much did the pirate's hook and peg leg cost?
I don't know. How much?
I don't either, but I bet it cost an arm and a leg.
You should be shark bait for that.
I cracked myself up. Back to the show. Now, remember I said we had the Overproof Rum, and I said we have this other rum that we still have waiting in the wings. So now that we've got this all in and we've got it nice and iced up, we're going to take our Gosling's Black Seal Black Bermuda Rum. It's a 151 proof, so you want to go a little light on this one unless you want to really surprise somebody. And we don't want to do that because we want to drink responsibly. But we're going to take that and just do just a little float on the top. And then what tiki drink would be complete without the total visual experience? You know why people clink their glasses? Because that's the one sense that we don't use when we're drinking. You know, we taste it, we see it, we hear it when we clink the glasses, when we taste it, and we feel that glass in our hand. So that's why we clink the glasses together. See, I told you this thing's educational. All right, so we're going to take a mint sprig with this, and I took a tour of the Bacardi distillery in San Juan, what they call House of Bacardi, and they did something a little bit different. Like for a mojito, most people will throw it in the bottom of the glass and kind of muddle it around. What Bacardi said, just take it in your hand and just give it a good slap, and it'll express those oils in that mint. And I got to tell you, I can really smell the mint right after I give it a good little bit slap. All right, so we're going to stick that right in the glass. We're going to garnish it with a lime wheel. And we're going to take a short little straw, because we don't need a big old tall straw for a short glass. And last but not least, a color matched little umbrella. And there you have it. We have the Mai Tai. Now, I want to know how this comes out for you. Put those comments down in the comments section down below. Or if there's other recipes you would love to see on this channel, I do listen. My wife says I don't, but I do listen to everybody out there. So enjoy the Mai Tai responsibly. I hope you have a great time in your own tiki paradise. This is Bourbon Bill with Bourbon Bill's Paradise, and cheers.